Welcome, welcome, welcome. Money printing is coming in my ominous voice. So today I'm going to be analyzing Fed rate hikes. Now this is very, very interesting and counterintuitive to what you may have heard before in the markets or from YouTubers or on Twitter. Sounds like everybody thinks they're a Fed expert these days. Everybody says don't fight the Fed. Wait until they pause rates and then we can all go celebrate. Or wait until they cut rates and then we can all go celebrate and we can all go to the moon. But let's look at the actual data here and let's do some analysis. All right, so I went in the back of history. I went into the history books and I looked at every time the Fed paused rates. So here's the Fed rates hiking in history, the past 30 years or so. And I highlighted here each time the Fed paused rates. Right now, the past year, we've been hiking rates, as you probably know. So when we go back in the history books, we look at the times that the Fed was hiking rates, and was that positive for the market, or was hiking rates really just destroying the markets? Let's look at that. So here it looks like it actually went up towards the end of this rate hike, which is counterintuitive to what the average person might think. This one we just saw a tiny rate hike, didn't do much. But then look, when we paused in between here, when we paused the rate hikes, the markets did what? They went up. Now it did drop at the end, but overall it looks like it went up here. And then they cut rate hikes, but this is this is just a little bit. They just went up a little bit and then down a little bit. They didn't go all the way down to the bottom here. So let's look at let's say this one. So they raised rates, markets kind of didn't do much for a while, then they paused, markets almost went up a little bit, and then when they cut rates, look at this, when they started cutting rates, that's when the markets really started to tank. And that's counterintuitive to what you hear, where everybody's waiting to put money in the market. Everybody's waiting until the rates are cut. But that's actually the worst time to get into the market because the markets tank, at least this one right here. Then the next time they hiked rates, markets actually went up a little bit. From about 9,590, this is the Dow Jones, up to about 10,740. So the markets actually went up when they're hiking rates. And then they paused, and look what happened here. We saw a massive kind of bull run here from 10,740 to 13,995. And then when we see the Fed cutting the rates, then we see the massive fall. Okay, this is the 2007, 2008 market collapse. They were cutting rates. They were not hiking the rates. So it's really when they start cutting rates, that's when it's like, get out of the markets in this example here. And then about 3 months, once they stop cutting rates, then there's about a 3-month lag, and then the market bottoms. So that's the market bottoms when they're done cutting rates, not when they're done hiking rates. It's a bit counterintuitive. Then let's go to the most recent one. Let's see, back in November 2015, we started hiking rates. And look at the markets went up. Markets going up, markets going up. Little pause, but then markets go up. And then the Fed pauses rates. And the pause, we saw a massive pump. Pretty choppy as well, but it definitely went up. And then when they start cutting rates, that's when we saw this major, that's when we saw the major 2020 collapse there. And then when they stopped cutting rates, then the market went on a massive bull run. Then they started printing money. Then it was the crypto bull run. You know, Elon Musk pumping Doge. Elon Musk adding Bitcoin to his balance sheet. Everything's going to the moon. And then here we go. We start raising rates again. Market's not doing so well these days, as you know. But it will be very interesting once the Fed eventually, I don't know when, maybe towards the end of this year, when they pause rates, it'd be very interesting. We could see a massive pump in the market. And then when they start cutting rates, that's when we could be in trouble. You know, that's when we could see like a really major recession. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think it's necessarily bad for the markets when the Fed is hiking rates? I guess it has been bad the last year or so. But everyone's waiting until they stop hiking rates. And they're saying, don't fight the Fed. Once the Fed pauses, that could be a big pump. But what do you think about when the Fed in the future, maybe next year, when they start cutting rates? Do you think that's going to be a good time to get our party hats back on and start partying again and Bitcoin's going to the moon? Or is that going to be like not so good for the markets? Are we going to see a major dump? And is that actually a good time to sell? So I thought this is a very, very important video to make here. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Definitely subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this. Video analysis on the charts. I do the Bitcoin chart. I'm going to do more Ethereum chart analysis, as well as looking at the astrology for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you're into crypto and astrology, definitely watch more videos here. And definitely subscribe to see more videos like this. All right, I will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.